What's up, guys? Ben here with Hamilton Bait and Tackle, and it's been quite a while since we've done a what's new in the store or restock update. But over the past about week and a half to 2 weeks, we've got a ton of new products in that are just been released on the market, as well as a bunch of restocks. So sit down and buckle up. This is going to be a little bit of a long one. All right, guys, so the first company that we're going to talk about here today is going to be Geecrack. We had a bunch of new products get dropped here this week, with the main craze being the brand new G-Crazy 18-inch worm. So just want to take a minute and thank you guys for all of the orders here this week. We had 3 colors that were released this week: green pumpkin, scuppernong, and ebamiso. We expect to have the other remaining colors in shortly, but once again, just wanted to thank everyone for the orders. All of the orders that have been placed already this week have already been shipped. A majority of them are out for delivery either by UPS or have already been delivered. So once again, just thank you guys for all the orders here this week. Now, just real quick, I just wanted to talk about this worm here for a second, and most guys are probably thinking, like, how in the hell would you fish an 18-inch worm? So the way that a majority of the people are fishing it is just on a Nico rig. There is a small flat side that you are able to either push in a small little nail weight, or what a lot of guys are using are some of the like screw-in Nico weights. So yeah, it is still a pretty big profile. The other way that guys are rigging it is on like a VMC crossover ring, and they're actually looping it, still adding a small nail weight in here, but it really changes the whole overall size profile of the worm to make it a little bit more manageable for guys that aren't around double-digit bass like us here in Ohio. So once again, thanks everyone for all of the orders this week. As soon as we get a notification that the remaining colors are going to be dropping, we will be sure to let you guys know. Now, along with the drop was the brand new release of the 2.8-inch Bellows Shad. So now, just to hold up a little side-by-side comparison, there is a significant difference in the just overall size profile between the 3.8-inch Bellows Shad and the 2.8. Now, the way to rig these, or how you're going to fish them, there's a number of different ways. The first one, and one of my most popular ways, is going to be as a trailer on a finesse jig. So whether you want to fish some of these finesse jigs that we are hand tying here in-house, features a 2/0 Gamakatsu hook, and the head size is a 1/4 ounce. So we've got a bunch of different color options still available now. So if you want this style finesse jig, be sure to pick some up. The other way is going to be on a jackhammer. So the one that I have rigged up here now is the newer release within the past couple months of the Z-Man jackhammer baby jack. So if you trim the skirt down, this is going to make a really good trailer for that. Now, there's a couple of different ways to rig this. You can either rig it horizontal like I have here now. If you want that chatterbait to stay up in the water column a little bit more, you can rotate the Bellows Shad and rig it horizontal. It just is going to help maintain or help get that bait to stay up in that water column a little bit more. So that is the 2.8-inch Bellows Shad. I'm not going to run through all of the different colors because the color options are the same in the 2.8 as they are in the 3.8. So if you got any questions, just jump over on the website. We got all the color options listed there for you as well too. Along with these products, we also released the 1-inch size in the Finesse Q-Bomb, which is really the same thing, except the strands on the skirting material are just a little bit thinner, just a little bit more of a finesse-y action in the water. That's going to wrap it up from Geecrack. Just be sure to stay tuned. We've got something in the works here with Geecrack that should be coming either later this fall or early spring. So just be sure to stay tuned on all of our social media for any updates coming from that. All right, next from Deps, we have a couple new products as well as a couple restocks. The first one is going to be the MS Craw in a 2.6-inch size, as well as the 3.6-inch size. So now for the new size, the 2.6, this is going to make just a phenomenal little finesse jig trailer. So like this one here, I've got it rigged on a Raid Japan Igudama, and this thing is going to be a little bit long. However, if you take and trim off the back section here where these little tentacles are, it lines up almost perfect. So this is probably going to be one of my new favorite finesse jig trailers here this fall. And then the 3.6 inch size is just going to be really a great flipping size. You can throw it on a free rig. So we didn't get all of the colors in the 3.6 inch size, but I think we have about 3 of them in stock right now. And I believe we have all of the colors in the 2.6 inch size. Also, we did get some of the new Indie Gill BullFlats, as well as a restock on the Indie Sagi, as well as a few other colors in the 3.8 inch size on the BullFlats. Now, the real Sakamatas have been out of stock for quite some time. They did just release a new 5 inch size, as well as a 7 and 8 inch size. So all 4 of those colors are now in stock from Deps while supplies last. All right, next from Megabass. If you are seeing this video, we've already dropped the new Respect series in the SG Smallmouth. So once again, thank you guys for your orders. A lot of those models that we had sold out within the first couple minutes of being released. But if you're still looking for these, we do have these available in a 110, 110 plus 1, and a junior plus 1. One thing I did want to mention, for the guys that haven't seen it is, it doesn't look like it would allow much light through. However, when you do hold this bait up to the light, it is transparent. That allows light to actually pass all the way through the bait. So I know it's a little bit hard to see just in pictures, but it does have a very transparent body to it as well. This is just going to be such a phenomenal fish catching color really everywhere. You're good. All right, along with the SG Smallmouth that we just got in stock, we did get a restock in the Megabass IXI Blowly. So now I didn't talk about this bait when it first came in because they flew out of here. However, I just wanted to spend a little bit more time and kind of break this bait down for the guys that don't know. So this is going to be a 3/8 of an ounce crankbait. This is going to be super shallow diving, so 1 to 2 feet probably max. And the reason that it stays that shallow is because of the small hole in the top of the head, as well as the 2 holes in the bottom of the gill plate. So essentially what happens is when you start to retrieve this, it's going to dive down like a normal crankbait would. However, water is going to flow in through the top of the head and out through the bottom of the gill plate, which acts as like a lift. So that's why this crankbait is only going to dive down to like that 1 to 2 foot diving depth range. So if you're looking for a super shallow diving crankbait, I would highly suggest looking at the new Megabass Blowly. This color right here is the Chartreuse Back Baby Kingo, which is probably one of my favorite colors. However, there are a ton of cool other colors in stock if you want something more of just like a traditional crawl color. We have them. So there are a ton of different color options in the Blowly. Be sure to check out all of them either in store or on the website. All right, next for Megabass, this has been in our store now for the couple weeks, but is the Haze ST as well as the new Sling Shad. So now the Haze ST, this is kind of designed or talked about like a strolling bait. However, there's a ton of different options. You don't need forward-facing sonar in order to fish these. These Haze STs fish extremely well just on a drop shot. You can also just throw them on a ball head and just kind of steady retrieve them. The Sling Shads are a 5 inch, more of like a soft style jerkbait. They work really good on a Owner Range Roller or Gamakatsu Horizon head. However, the other way to fish these is more of like a soft bodied jerkbait. You're just going to throw these out weightless on like a 3 or 4/0 EWG hook and just work these like you would just a traditional hard style or hard jerkbait. So caught several smallmouth just right over here at the dam on these new Sling Shads, just fishing them as a soft body jerkbait. So be sure to check out these on the website. All right, so the last thing from Megabass that I want to touch on is going to be the release or re-release of the Evoluzion rod series. Now, these are going to be available in 6 different spinning models as well as 9 different casting models. We do have some of each still in stock. However, there are a few models that I want to touch on and really kind of just break down, the technology that goes into the blank and just some things to, be cautious or look out for when you're deciding on which model might be the best for you. So the first one I want to touch on is going to be the slant bridge models. So not only is this just give such a rich or high class look, these are actually designed as a counterweight. So it really helps balance the rod out. So not all models come with a slant bridge. There are a few in the spinning and a few in the casting. If you have any questions on which models come with the slant bridge, just be sure to either take a look at the individual pictures on the website or give us a call and we can let you know. But now, as far as the actual blank is concerned, there are titanium strips that run up the blank, which ultimately is going to just increase the amount of power and backbone that these rods have. So a lot of questions that we've gotten on the spinning side is which one is going to be the closest to the Windbuster, which has probably been our best-selling P5 model that we have. And that's going to be the Lakiri. Now, I don't think that this is going to be exactly Windbuster-esque to say. However, this is going to do a lot of the same things that a Windbuster does extremely well. Throwing a free rig, I also really like this rod for tube fishing. So cracking a tube, I think this rod's going to be phenomenal. It's got a soft enough tip, but it's definitely got the backbone to really drive that hook through and really get those fish to the boat. So now, a couple of the models I wanted to just kind of mention is something like the Cliffhanger. So now a lot of guys are familiar with the Cliffhanger in the X10 lineup, which is really a BFS rod. This rod, from the looks and specs, you would think would fish the same way. Even when you bend this rod to really see how parabolic it is, it bends in the blank all the way down to that last guide. However, when you try to load the rod from the tips, it really shuts off at that like fourth or fifth guide. So I haven't had a ton of time to really break down and find out what the best baits to throw on this is, but I see this being a little bit troublesome or a little problematic for the guys that are maybe throwing treble hook baits on this rod. You really want or need that really soft, smooth parabolic bend all the way through the blank, which you're not going to necessarily get with this rod because it shuts off really quick at that like fourth or fifth guide. So I really see in this rod being good for, you know, smaller finesse jigs, something you really need that power to drive home, which all of these rods really have with having that titanium run up through the blank. So I've had time to fish several of the spinning models, a couple of the casting. I'm still working through the entire rod lineup, so I don't have a full breakdown on every specific model, but if there is any questions that you have, be sure to reach out to us and we can kind of help kind of pinpoint the exact rod that might fit what style bait you're throwing the best. So if you are interested in the Evoluzion rods, be sure to pick them up. Another restock that we've got in twice now is going to be the new Turtle Box Grandes, and then we did just get another smaller restock in the Turtle Box Rangers. So these things sound amazing. If you haven't heard one, they're perfect for the boat. They're perfect if you're camping, if you are sitting by the pool. These things are great. They are waterproof as long as the charging lid is completely latched. Another feature that the Rangers have are some magnets on the back, so whether you're golfing or whatever, these things will stick right to the golf cart. If you're a kayak guy, these things would be perfect as well too. These are all the Gen 3 models, so you can use the party mode feature, which allows you to hook up, I don't even know how many, a bunch of different speakers, more than you'll ever need. So if you are looking for a Turtle Box Grande, the new Ranger, or just the regular Gen 3s, be sure to pick one up. All right, another new product that we got in that kind of goes along with the Turtle Box is going to be the Eco Gear. So this is going to be the Defender model. Now, if you are looking for a good outdoor speaker, this really has a lot of the same features. It has the party mode that you are able to hook up multiple of these at the same time. This is just going to come in at a lower price point than the Turtle Boxes, $299 retail. So we've got a couple different colors available in these. Now, for the kayak guys, we do have a small waterproof case that has a speaker built into it as well. Once again, you can link these to multiple other speakers. This doesn't have the necessarily highest sound quality if you're used to something like a turtle box. However, for the guys that are in a kayak that just want a small speaker that can also keep their phone, wallet, and keys dry and secure, this is going to be a good option for you. It's a $99 retail, but for the guys like my brother that keep dropping iPhones in the lake, this is going to be a small investment that isn't going to break the bank. One other thing I did want to mention is these cases do float. So if you happen to either drop it in the lake or flip your kayak for unfortunate circumstances, you will be able to retrieve this, as this will just float down either the river or the lake that you're in. All right, next, we just got a massive restock in from Ryugi. Now, for the guys that are looking for a top-of-the-line tournament storage solution, for the guys that are co-anglers, this box is going to be perfect. So, we have the larger stock bags, which just is a big open container. However, we also have a bunch of the smaller little bait bags is what you could call them, or item bags. The bigger boxes will actually store and fit 6 of these smaller bags inside. Now, with the smaller bags, the nice part about these is the tops are clear, so it is really easy to identify what items you have in there. Now, on the inside, there are these removable Velcro storage slots, so you're able to adjust the size on these based on whether you're keeping smaller baits in there, or if you have full size baits like your Sakamata shads or whatever, you can open these all the way up to fit the larger or accommodate the larger baits packages as well. So we have 3 different colors available on the bigger bags as well as the smaller stock bags. We have black, white, and green available. All right, so something that we are only offering to the guys that are watching the video on YouTube is if you buy one of the big stock bags and 4 of the smaller item bags to fit inside, we're going to throw in an additional 2 at no charge, which is just a $50 savings for you. Once again, for the co-anglers, someone that's looking to store a lot of or all of their tackle in as compact of an area as possible, this is a great bag that I highly suggest that you check out. Along with tackle storage solutions, we did just get a restock in the extra large tanks. Now, these are going to be a good little terminal slot. These things feature a silicone gasket that will allow these things to keep out water. There are closable lids in both the top and the bottom. The bottom one features slightly deeper compartments. However, these are removable, so if you needed to put something like larger hook options, you have the ability to do that. So if you're looking for something small enough that you can throw on the deck to have all of your drop shot hooks and weights, be sure to check out the R tanks from Ryugi. Now, as far as other terminal, we did get a restock in the highly sought after Talisman Brutal HGs. We did get a restock in the 1/0 and 2/0 size. For anyone that remembers, Easton Fothergill won the Bassmaster Classic using this hook right here when he was fishing a Nico rig. So we've been out of stock of these for quite some time, but we did just get a restock in the 1/0 and 2/0 size, as well as the regular Talisman hooks, which just don't feature the little weed guard. Now, another thing from Ryugi is we did get a restock on the insect keepers. Now, we've done a video on these in the past. However, based on the style jig head, depending on the keeper, you just snap these things in along the bottom of the plastic and around that keeper on the jig head. Just allows you to preserve the life of that, like Kitech swim bait or whatever type of paddle tail swim bait that you're using. So if you're looking for these, we do have a restock in those as well. All right, so the last new product company that we are going to touch on is going to be BuzzerRocks. We did just get a bunch of new products in from them. The first one that I'm going to touch on is the Blood Stop Formula Spray. So if you hook a fish deep or in the gills, what you will do is just spray this in along the gills where the fish is bleeding, and it's going to clot that blood, which is really going to help increase the likelihood that you're going to be able to save one of the fish. These are really inexpensive for how important they are to preserving the fisheries that we have. So I highly suggest throwing one of these in your boat if you do happen to, hook one of those fish a little bit deep. That I'm going to touch on is going to be the energy party. Really what this is designed to do is you're going to throw one tablet in at the morning, and that's going to be it for the whole day. So this is just going to help with the fish that may be just a little bit lethargic, especially after the stress of being caught and thrown in the live well. It's also going to help speed up the detoxification process while they're in the live well too. So if you do have fish that are acting a little bit lethargic, throw one of these energy parties in your live well. The next one is going to be the bubble release. So basically what you're going to do is if you are using it for fish that are being held in a live well, you're going to drop one of these white tablets in your live well every 4 hours. If you are using this as an alternative to like an aerator, if you're fishing with live bait, you're going to drop one tablet in every 10 hours. So for the guys that don't want to spend the money on, a new aerator and just need something that is quick and easy, just drop one of these tablets in your bait bucket at the beginning of the day, and they're good for up to 10 hours. Now, the last one that I wanted to touch on is going to be the Ultimate Tournament Package. This is going to feature some of the Blood Stop, some of the Energy Party, as well as the Bubble Release. So in the morning, you are going to drop in one of the yellow and one of the pink tablets, as well as one of the white tablets. And then you will not have to replace the yellow or the pink. The only one that you will have to replace is going to be the white tablets. And once again, just like the package of just the bubble release, you'll add one of these tablets to your live well every 4 hours. Really just helping a way to preserve the fish that are being transported throughout the day, especially in summer conditions where the temperature and water temperature is extremely hot. We're always looking for ways to reduce the risk of fish loss when we're fishing tournaments. I highly recommend picking some of these up, throwing them in your boat for your next tournament or when you are transporting fish in your live well. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up here for today, but I appreciate everyone watching. I just wanted to close. We are running a Labor Day sale now through Monday at 11:59. So things that are going to be on sale. Great Lakes Finesse is buy 2, get 1 free. However, if you need to stock up, we are running a buy 10, get 10 free, which is 50% off all Great Lakes Finesse products. We are running 20% off all of our Hamilton Bait hats. Also, all Daiwa X-Braid line is 20% off through the weekend. So be sure to stay up to date, Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube for any of the upcoming sales that we have, as well as just any new products that we have in stock or will be releasing, like the next round of the G Crazy Worms from Geecrack. But I hope everyone has a great day and a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. We will see you guys on the next one.